I must say, I love how Ghanaian government cares about its people, how he puts his people first, even though
people say South Africa is dangerous. But here is a question that nobody wanna answer. If it is that dangerous, why are so many Africans fighting to stay?
If there's a war in Zimbabwe, in Mozambique, in Eswatini, in Lesotho, in Botswana, in Namibia, the first country of safety can be South Africa. And I indicated at that briefing that there is no war even within the SADC region.
African governments are finally speaking out about what's happening in South Africa and the steps that they plan to take in order to protect their citizens.
You know, I have a question for you guys. Who is she? Where does she come from? Who is sponsoring her? Who's sponsoring the platforms that she's on? Because you see,
welcome and welcome back again to another amazing video. Today guys, I still remain your one and only UJT, also known as Mamika. So today I have a particular video of some South Africans. They are beginning to acknowledge that Ghana as a country is one of the countries that don't joke with their citizens, that no matter what, they are going to fight and make sure that their citizens are safe. So should it come in times that South Africans are now beginning to regret the reason why they decide to attack a Ghanaian man in South Africa? But let's take a look at the videos to hear what they are actually saying about Ghana and the reason why they are doing this to Ghana, or the reason why they're doing those xenophobic attacks to Africans. And if you've not liked this video, please do so well to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow this channel for more.
You know, I have a question for you guys. Who is she? Where does she come from? Who is sponsoring her? Who's sponsoring the platforms that she's on? Because you see, people that are doing this movement don't have money. They are broke. You can't just gather people. You can't just have a movement unless you have money. You can't change the world. You can't change a nation. You can't change a city. You can't change a town without money. So you have to ask yourself, where does she get the money from? Who is sponsoring her? And what is the real agenda behind the agenda they're trying to show us? I am very much South African, but I'm not a fool and I'm not stupid. This is why as Christians we have to pray, because the devil is very deceiving. All these people, all that they're doing, they are causing chaos, division in our country and crippling our economy in the name of people must go back to their country who are here illegally. There are ways to do things correctly. Listen, and listen to me hard. If you are really for the people, if you really stand for the truth, you disappear. If you are a true threat, you disappear. They put you out. She doesn't have power. They don't have power. They've been given a platform and given money. There is an organization that's sponsoring them to create chaos, division in our country, in our city, especially in KZN and in Durban. Trust me, there are powers that are running countries, cities and towns, that if she was a threat, if she was going to dismantle the economy, if she was going to cause commotion, because remember, everything is for the economy. Anything that threatens the big boys from making money, they take you out. She's paid to cause division. She may sound right, she may seem correct, but she's lying. She is working for the devil. This is why as Christians we have to pray for our towns, we have to pray for our city. Where is Waris? Waris stood up for the truth and they killed him. You know this. There's been many great freedom fighters, peace fighters that stood for the truth that were taken out immediately. That were taken out immediately. So, as Christians, don't fall for this. Do not fall for this. It's a lie. These people aren't who they say they are and stand for what they say they stand. They may gather as many people as they want. It's irrelevant. It's what they truly stand for, and the spirit behind them, and the spirit behind what they're doing. The spirit that's sponsoring this is demonic. There is no truth, there is no light, there is no life in what they're doing. Do not be deceived, Christians.
How he puts his people first. Even though some of the government officials are liars, but you have to give them their flower. That when a Ghanaian is in distress, they grab that Ghanaian and protect the Ghanaian. But not with lies, though. Not with lies. Mr. Emmanuel Asamo was very, very truthful about his journey to South Africa. 2019, he came as a tourist and he never left. And so he's back at home. From what we hear is that the government is going to, I don't know, take care of him. I've been hearing things like a house is going to be built for him, he's going to get a job, etc. and so forth. So that is exactly what South Africans wanted. But I must also say to Ghanaians, see God works in mysterious ways. Had this man was not approached the way he was and went viral, he would still be suffering in South Africa. Because from what I hear from people that know him, Ghanaians that I know that know him, Ghanaians in South Africa, they're very close. They know everybody. So I did ask some Ghanaian people, especially the ones that make my shoe, who is Emmanuel Asamo? They say he struggles here in South Africa. He struggles. Sometimes he doesn't have food to eat. He would have to come and borrow money. And he used to, it's a sad story, I must say. It's a very sad story. But it is a sad story that other Ghanaians are going through here in South Africa. So he was struggling badly. And the hair salon that he said he worked at, he didn't work there as an owner of the salon. This is a guy, you see, he was carrying a bucket. He was going to clean the salon because that's his job. He would clean and he would sweep the hair off the floor from a Ghanaian who owns the salon in Soweto. And he did, like, how do you put it? It's not a job. It's something to keep him afloat. It's something to keep him afloat, to eat. And also he was using, how do you call that thing again? The betting thing, betting numbers. He would bet numbers. Sometimes he would win that 5,000 Rand. He would take that money, half of it, and send it back home. And then he uses what he's left with. So for his Rand and transportation to Soweto. So that's how he lived here in South Africa. He was struggling. He was struggling. I mean, you can tell when a person is struggling, because if you look at the video, that viral video, you can tell that his luck is not with him. He came here thinking he was going to get his pot of gold, but it didn't turn out that way. So now he's back home, and you can tell. I was looking at it.
South Africa is under attack not by immigrants but by the global system. Look, I do not condone violence against foreigners, but something has to be spoken about. Every time we try to fix what was broken, land reform, economic transformation, controlling our borders, the world screams racism, genocide, or white genocide, or xenophobia. They have weaponized words to keep South Africans weak, and they have fallen for it. Let me tell you about the word xenophobia. It comes from Greek, fear of foreigners, but in South Africa, it's been twisted into a weapon. Whenever South Africans try to enforce their immigration laws, whenever they demand accountability from foreign nationals who commit crimes, the illegal immigrants who commit crimes, from the past atrocities committed by imperialist forces and apartheid regimes, they are labeled as xenophobic, as people who cannot let go of the past. But here's the truth. South Africa hosts over 4 million immigrants. 4 million immigrants, the most in Africa. We have been the most welcoming country on the continent, including the ones who existed during apartheid. I'm talking about the white people. When I'm talking about illegal immigrants, I'm referring to the ones who are white as well. The ones from Ukraine. We have been the most welcoming country on the continent. I repeat that. But when our hospitality is abused, when we complain, we are shamed. Other Africans have the audacity to call South Africans uneducated and illiterate, yet educated governments constantly twerk for global entities. Look at Nigeria. With all that oil, 60% still live in poverty. Nigerians hold more doctoral degrees in the US than any other immigrant group, but their own country can't feed its people because their leaders sold a nation's wealth. But they have the audacity to tell South Africans that they do not own land and white people still own the wealth. South Africans know that. They are and still fighting against that. So who's the problem, really? Pan-Africanism used to mean unity against colonialism, against imperialism. Today, it's been hijacked. Global NGOs, the UN, foreign powers have infiltrated this ideology. Now, Pan-Africanism is used to guilt trip South Africans into accepting crime, into opening borders without control, into sacrificing our safety for the sake of African unity. Let me tell you something. South African soldiers died in Congo fighting. But that was not given a headline. Look, I am all about uniting with Africans, but we need to fix our home first before we integrate one into one country. Right, as Africans can march against xenophobia in South Africa, but where are the marches against their own corrupt governments? Where are the protests against imperialist forces stealing resources in Congo? Where is the outrage over Sudan's blood shed? It's silence, because the same NGOs funding anti-xenophobia campaigns are funded by the same powers that control those resources. Where is the
I'll keep saying it. In every gathering in all country, there is a political agenda that is attached to it. Most times you see these people that will protest. Oh, a government is in power. They'll begin to protest, disrupt them in power, make the government feel so uncomfortable, make the government feel so unease. All those people are being championed by some group of politicians to disrupt the government. that is on seats. I can remember some things that happened some days ago. I think on the internet, they said a particular Ghanaian guy, you know, the money they gave him for, what's it called? Money they gave him for protests, for the, you know when they did the Igbo King protest of the thing, that the money they gave him for the Igbo King protest, that he spent it, he ate everything. So they were asking him for accountability. So that draws me back, that does it mean that most of those protests have been sponsored? I'm not sure about that, but does it mean that most of these protests are sponsored to disrupt a government in power? And that is the reason why it is not all protests you see that you join. Just like in my country, Nigeria, some group of people will just wake up one day, oh, we don't want this, we don't want this. Just like the Boko Haram people that are disrupting Nigeria, they are doing it because of a particular, as in, they have been sponsored by political parties. And most of them would do it willingly because they want to do it. I wouldn't say it is all true, but most times it's usually true. When you see how the scenarios plays out, you think, I think this has been sponsored. Because most of those people that do this protest, they don't have a job. They don't have money. So how do they feed? How do they clothe? How do they pay their rent? You know? So when you think about all those things, you know that, oh, I think these people are being sponsored. They give them money in every protest they go. They tip them, and that is the reason why they will keep protesting, because they still need that money to feed on. But all the same, let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe.